It's the typical bullying scenario, I guess. Yeah. So I stopped. And I started again when I was 15 because I was very interested in sport. I was starting to play rugby, I was playing football, and I wanted to get very fit. And I realised that some of the fittest people on earth are ballet dancers, which I think we would all agree on. Some of the fittest people in the world are ballet dancers. So that inspired me to get back into it. And there was a touring company called the English Youth Ballet. Now what would happen was they would come, and they would come to each region once every 4 years. And they would take 100 children, and they would perform an entire ballet with that group of children. You'd have 3 weeks of rehearsals, and you would perform this ballet in a very big theatre. I was the only boy in the northeast of England, so the area, I don't know, near Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Newcastle. I was the only boy in that area to apply for this company when I was 15 years old. And I went, I auditioned, I had no idea what I was doing, no idea. But they took me because I was 15 years old and I was showing some interest. Yeah. So they gave me this experience, I did the performances, I met the first male professional dancers I ever met in my life, and I was just so inspired. I just thought, wow. I was already signed up in college to be, to go to do physics and maths and English. That was my study. I wanted to be an airline pilot. I didn't want to dance. Dancing was never a dream. I said one day to my mother, I said, you know what, when was this? I was 13. I said, you know what, I quite like dancing. Dancing's fun. Maybe I could do this professionally. My mother went, no, you can't. I said, why? She said, it's not that you're not good enough. She says, you don't have the fire in your belly. That's what she said, that passion. And she was right. I didn't have that passion. I wasn't passionate about dancing. But doing this experience really gave me a passion. And having some male role models who were saying, yes, do this, really inspired me to go for it. So I applied to lots of schools. And they all said no. Obviously. I was 16 years old, applying 3 months late for international ballet schools. They all went, no, you're crazy. People train their entire lives dreaming of going to ballet school. Yeah, why would we let you in? But there was one school that did. A school called Romberg, which I'll come to later on. And I had never seen the school. I didn't know anything about it. I went on the webpage, and it said, ballet and contemporary dance. I had no idea what contemporary dance was. Yeah, no idea. I just knew ballet. I said, yeah, ballet, ooh, yeah. But I applied. It was a nice looking building. It was very pretty, very white. I'll show you some pictures in a minute. I don't know if I've got pictures. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So I saw these 2 pictures on the webpage and sent off a DVD because I couldn't go to the audition. What normally happens is you apply, you send off an application letter. If they like what your past training has been, they will invite you to audition. You go with 50 other dancers, you spend 4 hours more or less dancing, you do a ballet class, you do improvisation, which is terrifying. Improvisation is terrifying. Yeah. You have people look at your body, they scan your body, they make sure that you're flexible, yeah, they pick you up and move you around and bend you over, and it's all very invasive. It's all very invasive, yeah. I didn't do any of this. I saw pictures, sent off a DVD of me dancing for 2 minutes, and I sent off a speech, me talking for 1 minute, why I wanted to be a dancer. And I was accepted. Crazy. So I went to ballet school when I was 16, and I went here, which is actually one of the best dance schools in the world. And it's the only school in Europe that does ballet and contemporary dance equally. Let me just think. So, I've got this in the wrong order. 2 major things that we learned in Romberg School. So we did ballet, classical ballet, yeah. I'm sure you've all seen some sort of classical ballet. the thing that people don't know about is contemporary. Rambert based itself on two major techniques. One was called Graham technique. I'm just going to read this out. Graham technique was recognised as one of the greatest, Graham was recognised as one of the greatest artists of the 20th century. Martha Graham created a movement language based upon the expressive capacity of the human body. Graham technique is based on the opposition between contraction and release. Its other dominant principle is the spiralling of the torso around the axis of the spine. All very technical language. Right, so the contraction and the release thing is the most basic thing of all that. That's pretty much breathing. Breathing, yeah? In ballet you breathe, but you have to hold yourself very strong while you breathe. You cannot, your upper body needs to be very strong and very, not rigid, but held a lot of the time. Graham was, so this is an example of contraction on the left and an example of release on the right. It was all about the exhale and the contraction of the muscles being very, very deep and very kind of dominated by a force, yeah? And then you would release. She used a lot of her movement as a form of ritual. She inspired a lot of ritual dancers as well. Yeah, a lot of her dances were about mythology and gods, yeah, giving herself up and then kind of being submissive, yeah. It's all very dramatic. Yeah, and very difficult. It's very painful as well. This technique, very painful. Another one was a guy called Merce Cunningham, yeah, who created Cunningham technique, which works with the idea that dance and music should be able to exist independently of each other while sharing the same time and space. This guy was German, yeah, and he had very contemporary ideas of what dance was. Yeah, so he was a complete opposite to Martha Graham. He trained under Martha Graham, who was a lady before, yeah, and he took his ideas and he just thought, well, I don't really agree with that. So instead of kind of this being dominated and kind of releasing and giving yourself up, he felt that the body should be under control a lot of the time. And this was the major thing, where have I got it here? That the back would work in opposition or in unison with the legs. There's a lot of kind of isolation of the upper body compared to the legs. So your upper body and your legs would move independently, all together. It's a very difficult technique to kind of grasp. Anyway, so in the school we had kind of 4 things that we focused on. The practice, which was ballet class and contemporary class. Yeah? Ballet class, typical. You've got 45 minutes on a ballet bar. Yeah? Points on your toe. You've got your tendus, your glisses, your battements, your grand battements, all the French that you want to throw around. Yeah? I don't speak French, but hey, I know all of the ballet words in French. It's great. Yeah? You do that every day. Contemporary as well had similar classes that would prepare you, so you do the same thing or a similar thing every morning. You'd go in at 8:30 in the morning, you do your ballet class for an hour and a half, you take a 15-minute break, and then you do your contemporary technique class, which was, if it was the Graham technique, you'd be on the floor, kind of contracting and releasing, and contracting and releasing. Yeah, very weird thing. If you just watched a Graham class, it looks like everybody is in pain. It just looks like a very painful experience, which it is. We didn't only practice, but we also had theory classes. I did a degree in dance. Ballet school, you have to do a degree. You have to study. Yeah, and you learn about the history of dance. You learn about choreographers that came before you, how these people were inspired, what their views on dance was, how dance has changed over time. Yeah. Imagery was one of the major things in contemporary dance. These are a couple of the things that the teachers used to say to me. One of the director of Rambert used to say this a lot at the end of class and at the beginning of class. He used to say, the head, you'd have to stand like this. Already mentioned that. Teachers. these are some of the questions that people have asked me, so I'm just going to try and answer them to get myself back on track. How much do your teachers push you? Are they really controlling expectations? I don't know what people imagine a ballet teacher is like. Ballet teachers are kind of horrible people. It's pretty true. Ballet teachers are horrible people. The majority of. Mine were. Mine told me that I would fail every single day. You'd walk in, you'd stand at the bar, and they'd go, no, wrong, no. Yeah, I don't know. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, your ribs are too high. Yeah, your knee's wrong. I don't know. Ballet teachers are horrible. Yeah. I had one teacher, I'm gone into story time now. I had one teacher that would say, good for you, good for you. A very sarcastic tone. Anything I did, good for you. Yeah? Yeah, I don't know. Even if I did something right, you do 3 turns, and you go, good for you. I have nightmares about it, as you can tell. I'm going to use this as my therapy session. This is great. This is cool. Expectations, motivation. So, I mean, I can only speak for me, but you'd expect that if you'd made it to ballet school and you were putting the work in every day, you're putting 8 hours of training in every day, you'd expect the teachers to motivate you, to go, yes, you can do this. Are you having a difficult day? Don't worry, you'll be better tomorrow. No. So I did 3 years of training. The first year, the teacher said, good for you. You're trying. You're really trying. Don't worry. Next year you'll be better. The next year I wasn't better. He was just, give up. Just give up. Just leave. Don't worry. You won't be a dancer. You won't. I had injury problems as well. He was like, just give up. It's not for you. There's plenty of other people better. Just, yeah. Not very motivational. I managed to get to my 3rd year, and the director, not the director, but the deputy director sat me down. She went, so, just a normal day. She took me into her office. She went, how was your performance? Yeah, great. Are you enjoying the classes? Yeah, great. She said, oh, good. I think you should quit dancing. Saying, oh. Any reason why? He said, yeah, I think you're just wasting your time. You shouldn't be a dancer. I don't think you have what it takes. Just give up. And, ooh, that's helpful towards the end of my 3rd year of this degree. Thanks for telling me that. Giving a kind of good push off into the professional world. But, I mean, you can't... I think the thing that you learn in dance is that you can't please everybody. For the 1,000 people that are telling you you're going to fail, there's one person that says, no, keep going, you've got this. And it's only that one person. It's the same as the 3 months of rehearsal is worth the 1 minute on stage. The 1,000 people telling you that you will fail is worth the one person that thinks there's something special about you. Yeah. I think that's the amazing thing. I don't think there's many professions that really can give you that feeling from just the tiniest bit of support, I guess. Here's another quote, which I totally agree with. Great dancers are not great because of their technique, they are great because of their passion. I've got a lot of passion. Auditions. Applying is the most difficult thing for auditions. So here's the paradox of being a dancer. You do 3 years of training, you're dancing every day, you're the fittest you have ever been, you apply for an audition, and the audition notice says, we only accept applications for dancers with 3 years minimum professional experience. Your training is apparently not professional experience. So you need to have your 3 years training plus 3 years professional experience before you can apply for a job. How do you get professional experience if you can't get a job? So you lie. I lied, yeah? I said, yeah, I've danced with the ballet company in Wales, definitely, yeah? You have to lie, otherwise you don't get the jobs. People who are honest don't get jobs. So I didn't lie, I worded my CV very carefully. I kind of put like, Rombay Dance Company in big bold letters, and then underneath, workshop, yeah? Instead of, I don't know, just to catch people's eye. It's all these little techniques that you need to do to get past that first hurdle of being of getting an audition. Yeah? Once you get to the audition, you have the famous cuts. These are as brutal as people think they are. Auditions are, to be fair, I love auditions. I love going for auditions. I think I make a good first impression. I don't know why, but I just do. But, I don't know, for ballet, for example, there's a story one of my ballet teachers told me. You'd have to run. They'd have people come in, they'd wait for an hour and a half. They'd apply, they'd travel across the country. They'd go, okay, 50 people in the room, or 100 people in the room. They'd say, okay, run from this corner to this corner. And if they didn't like the way you would run, they would literally stand with the door open. One person would have the door open, and they would point you this way or that way. If they pointed you out of the door, you would run straight out of the door, and you were out of the audition. The first thing you did, you walk in, they go, run, and they go that way or that way. Looking at you, just looking at you, yeah? Cutthroat, yeah? And then, again, you're just a number. You're just a number. We call them cattle call auditions. You get a big national audition for a big company. I went to 2 or 3 of them. It's not worth it. You walk in, they go number 28, number 35. Maybe there's 60 people in the audition. You dance for 5 minutes after travelling for 3.5 hours and spending £100 on trains and a hotel, getting ready for 2 days of audition. You do a 5-minute routine and they go, yeah, we're going to keep 5, 12, 21, 28, 51, 36. Everybody else, bye-bye. Yeah, it's tough. But you get used to rejection very, very quickly. Very quickly. I don't know why dance is taken advantage of in such a way. It really is taken advantage of. I mean, dancers work so hard, and they don't just put, it's not just coming and learning a step and doing a dance routine, yeah? It's all the years of training beforehand. It's eating right, it's keeping fit, it's keeping yourself strong mentally to actually put the effort in to go to auditions, yeah? It's travelling, it's the expenses. We need to live, but travel. How do we have bills? We do have bills, yeah? We need to eat food. And they expect you to do this work for free. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Or you'll get a director that says, ooh, after 3 months, ooh, yeah, I'm not seeing my vision in you, so I'm not going to pay you. It happens. If they don't see the vision, they decide not to pay you. You say that right now. I don't know. Am I completing the vision by doing this talk, anyone? You better pay me. Yeah? Right. Sorry, so that's about the payment. Networking. I suppose in any job, networking. Okay, networking for contemporary dancers is giving everybody a cuddle. Hugging everybody that you meet and know. Yeah? Being, friendly. We don't handshake, we hug. Yeah? It's very hippie. It's a very hippie way of life. But if you don't hug, if you're the dancer that walks in and gives a handshake, ooh, you're not a team player. Yeah? Saying yes and no. No is to the people that want to give you free work. Yeah? You have to learn to say no. Because if dancers keep on saying yes to free work, there's always going to be work expected to be done for free. Yeah? If there's one dancer that says, yeah, I'll do it for, I don't know. Like, I did a summer camp here once, not dancing, and I got offered a summer camp for a week, and it was a week, 24 hours a day, sleeping and eating and cooking food for these children in an English camp, and it was, I don't know, €200? For me, that didn't seem worth it at all. I said, well, come on, like €400 at least for example. But then someone came, and they went, I'll do it for 150. Yay. Yeah, and they take that person. Because dancers, if you don't do the job, they're going to find someone else that does. So you have to do them. But in the end, dancers really need to kind of stick together and go, no, I'm not going to do this for free. We all need to say, pay us something, expenses at least, yeah? To get, why do we dance? So, this is me at the bottom. I dance because there's nothing in the world that gives me the feeling that dancing gives me. Pretty much. There's nothing in the world for me that a year of rehearsal is worth an hour on stage. Nothing. My first ever performance, I went and I did, it was 20 minutes. We spent 2 months rehearsing. It was a 20-minute duet and a 6-minute solo. I came off the stage, and it was great, I was high, it was great, it was awesome, yeah? And I got in the car, and after an hour driving home, I just like broke down and cried. It was crazy. Because I got such a high from this, and then such a drop from being on stage. Very strange. That doesn't happen anymore, you get it under control. But it's just one of those things that, I don't know, it's something really hard to explain. I've put these two pictures up. This is a good friend of mine, a guy called Elliot Smith. He has his own company. He's my age, he's the same age as me. But he always had a dream of having his own company and creating his own choreographies and sharing his own ideas. That's why he dances. He is a homosexual Catholic. Yeah? He was in Rome, he was in a cathedral in Rome this weekend, performing. Yeah? Obviously, it's quite a contradictory thing to be, but his dancing expresses that. That's his way of expressing his conflict, I guess. Yeah? The guy on the right, he used to be a ballet dancer. Not belly dancer, ballet dancer, yeah? And he got a degenerative disease. And little by little, he lost use of his legs, yeah? So he became a contemporary dancer, and then he just lost the whole bottom of his body. He's in a wheelchair, he can't walk, he can't do anything. But he still dances, he's so inspirational. And he dances to show the capabilities of the human body. Yeah? You don't know what you're doing when you're dancing. Even though you've got hours of choreography in your head, you go onto an automatic pilot. The day you're thinking about what you're doing, you're not dancing. If you're worrying about where your arm's going to be, for me, it's not dancing. For me, you have to you do the hours and hours of rehearsal, and when you get on stage, you just need to do it. For me, that is dancing, yeah? And what gives you the best feeling. Cool, same card. Oh, I had one last slide. Anytime anyone asks me what you do, I go, oh, I'm a dancer. They go, hey, can you do the splits? I go, yes, I can. But no, I'm not going to show you right now. It's the first thing. Which is why I constantly wear jeans. I use the jeans as an excuse. They're not flexible enough, yeah? They'll tear, yeah? So that's the final question. Proof. There you go. I'm not going to do it right now. But first thing, dance for us, please, dance. Dance, monkey, dance. Yeah? I'm far too expensive. I'm sorry.